Welcome to the Sunday Night Freedom Racing Series. I am your host and broadcaster, Oscar Jensen. Tonight we are at Legacy, Atlanta. This is not the current updated version of this track, so it's the 2008 version. That means there's probably gonna be a lot more sliding and wrecks and possibility of carnage. So we'll see what happens here tonight. On the pole right now, we got Jacob Shala. We'll go over that here in a second if I can get my mouse to work. It's not quite yet. There we go. All right, on your front row, you got Jacob Shala, Joseph Kazi. Joseph Kazi won last week's race at Southern National. Unfortunately, we did not have a stream for that, but he won last week. In the second row here, we got Caleb Shelton, Justin Day. Justin Day supporting Bang Energy in that new scheme, it looks like. Derek Garrison, Jordan Berry there in the third row. In the row number 4, Bryce Shoemaker, Nick Wood. Bryce Shoemaker has that win, and he's trying to secure himself more into this playoff run with another win. Going into row number 5, Jim Foskett, Eric Garrison, Rob Hamp, Joseph Sullivan. Joseph Sullivan, he's going to be my pick tonight. He's going to be the one that we're going to have to watch the most, I think. Going into row number 7, Aaron K, Keith Shoemaker. And then our newest driver, or one of our newer drivers, Stefan Davis, there in row number 8. So let's go ahead and get focused on these guys up here. Let's give this a little bit more of race info on tonight's race. Those laps are wrong. It's actually 200 laps. I unfortunately forgot to change that. Pit road speed 55 miles an hour. Actually, it should be 45 miles an hour. Then we got 5 additional sets and a stage at lap 50, I believe. Green flag in the air. We're racing from Atlanta Speedway. Three wide there for a second, going for second place. Your early leader, though, coming to lead this lap is going to be Joseph Kazi. He will secure the first lap, followed by Jacob Shala and Jordan Berry in that third position. So far, things single filed out for the most part. A little bit further back, we have guys racing. That's Bryce Shoemaker, Derek Garrison, Caleb Shelton, and Justin Day there. Side by side still for that fourth position between Justin Day and Caleb Shelton. No advantage really to either one. Justin Day on that high side fighting strong as Caleb Shelton has that run. Looks like Justin Day is going to kind of give that position up to Caleb Shelton, try and possibly save those tires. That's going to be something that we're going to have to watch all night, is this tire saving strategy that some drivers may or may not do. This track likes to eat these tires up and is not nice to drivers who make mistakes. So any slides, anything that may put stress on them, you want to avoid. Caleb Shelton there on that high side, using that to his advantage. We'll see if that hurts him on later in the long run. But put him up to third there over Jordan Berry. Jordan Berry now getting pressure from the 99 of Rob Hamp. Rob Hamp is in this beautiful paint scheme. We'll go on board and see. Here comes Caleb Shelton with the big run with the back bumper of Joseph Causey. See if maybe we can go on board and see what he's doing here. He's using this higher side to his advantage. A little bit tight there. Had to get out the throttle. Was able to jump back in it though pretty quickly, and is going to be able to take this lead away from Joseph Causey for the meantime. See a few other drivers back behind there. Rob Hamp, Bryce Shoemaker following. Caleb Shelton up on that high side. Jim Foskett back here in that 47 car, looking strong so far early on. Now I want to go back to, I tried to pop up the race info earlier. It hadn't updated since the last time we raced. But our stage will be at lap 70, and the admins and race control have decided that because of the amount of wrecks that we've been having lately, we're gonna keep the stage caution, or we're gonna keep the stage green, and there's not gonna be a stage caution. So drivers will still get their stage points at lap 70. It's just instead of throwing a caution for it and regrouping the field back up, we will have that continued green flag run, so it won't interrupt too much of this racing. I do think we will see some strategy going into this night, as a little bit of contact there with Jordan Berry and Jim Foskett. They were able to keep it straight. But again, I think the big thing tonight that we're going to have to watch out for is tire wear. Our fuel window is about 55, 60 laps. We've got one car in the wall there. That's Rob Hamp. Got a little bit of that right side. I'm assuming he probably got a little bit tight there. But our fuel window is going to be about 55 to 60 laps. So we can't make quite till stage on a full tank of fuel. So we'll have to see if drivers here decide to split that in half, or if they want to run as long as they can and possibly get a caution or something like that. So current leader though, Bryce Shoemaker, he's out front over Caleb Shelton. Joseph Causey back to third place. Don't count him out though. He's still looking strong. But Caleb Shelton got that wall just a little bit with that right rear. He's really kind of pushing it on that higher side. Not really keeping too much out of the tank, as we have a little bit of carnage going on back here. It looks like that's going to be Jim Foskett, and the caution is going to come out here. I believe Jim Foskett in the other car was Jordan Berry, caught up in that wreck there. We'll go back and take a look here and see what we can find. It's like a little bit of contact there with Jim Foskett in the wall, and that just kind of unfortunately sent him down into Jordan Berry there. Nothing really Jordan Berry could do. Kind of just an innocent victim there. Went for a slide, hit the wall a little bit. Doesn't look like it's too much damage. Probably minor damage. I don't think he'll have to use a fast repair, but that is definitely going to hurt his race overall. We do have 5 tire sets tonight. but you don't really want to use them for incidents like this where you slide him. So we'll see if he takes him or not here, as he works his way down pit road. Overshoots just a bit. It's probably because of all that heat and those tires that he just had. Looks like a majority of these drivers are actually going to take tires. And Jordan Berry is... I don't believe he's going to take tires there. So he's going to just fix that nose damage and get on his way. Caleb Shelton, though, is going to keep hold of the lead here off of pit road. Bryce Shoemaker lost one spot here, so move him back to third place. Justin Day in second place. And this should be the choose, I believe. So we will see here if they... And it looks like they are choosing. So drivers will have their option of either high or low here on this restart. I preferably think drivers would take the bottom side to be a little bit more easier and just overall less. If there's carnage, less... what am I trying to say here? Less like places that you would be involved in or stuck in, because if you get on this high side, if you restart on this high side and there's, for whatever reason, tires spin or something, then majority of these cars are gonna probably slide up. We've seen it time and time again with incidents on restarts where cars who take 2 or no tires slide those tires trying to get back up to speed, and then that causes chaos, and there's a lot of wrecks happen in this restart zone. So we'll watch that here on this start here. Caleb Shelton, Bryce Shoemaker on this front row, Justin Day, Jacob Shala here on that second row. We'll get him ready to go green flag racing here in just a moment. Pace car is going to take this hard left turn off. Caleb Shelton's going to lead him into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Not a lot of tire spin from anyone, really. So a clean start from everyone for the most part. Some of those guys may have given a little bit more room between them and others, so there's going to be a little bit of a gap between some of these guys. Bryce Shoemaker is able to clear Caleb Shelton there on that bottom side. Slide him up to the lead position now. Three wide here for a moment again. That's Justin Day to that high side. Rob Hamp with a big run. He's going to be looking to the inside of Caleb Shelton. Will he clear him? Yes, he sends it in deep. And he's going to be able to clear Caleb Shelton there for that second position. Meanwhile, Bryce Shoemaker has pulled almost a second lead over these guys back here. Side by side for third place, Jacob Shala versus Caleb Shelton. Caleb Shelton still remaining on this higher side. You saw it, we've seen him get that wall a few times with the right rear. Hasn't really paid the price too much so far. Still flirting with disaster here early on. Sees if he calms it down here or not. Me personally, I think my word of advice for some drivers like that would be play it easy. Still very early on. We're in 19 out of 134, so no need to risk it too early on. But if you're Caleb Shelton, maybe that's not what you want to be doing. Maybe what you want to be doing is try and gain as much time as you can. Try and get these stage points, maybe possibly put yourself in position for the win early on and not have to worry about it later on. Joseph Sullivan back here working his way slowly up through the field. Remember, he's my pick. He's currently 7th position right now. I think Caleb Shelton there in that 77 car is starting to pay the price for running that high side. He's fallen off quite a bit here since this restart, and he's continuing to lose a little bit of time to guys around him. Not a whole lot currently for lost time, but over this run, it'll probably start to add up. You can see Caleb Shelton went high there again, lost a little bit of time. I'm not sure if that's because he was tight a bit, or if maybe he was just trying to conserve and not fight too hard with these guys that are a little bit quicker than him. But either way, Joseph Sullivan has been able to put a gap between him and Caleb Shelton, as well as Nick Wood there. So I was talking to Jim earlier on through the week, and he said he wasn't getting a lot of camera time, so we're gonna force him to have a little bit of camera time here. We're gonna ride on board with him for a lap here. Gonna give him a little bit of a shout out too. He's been wrecked a few races so far this season, hasn't gotten the results. We've seen him run up front in a few races as well. And again, kind of just has come down to those late race wrecks that we've seen at places like Pocono, Chicagoland. And he hasn't gotten the recognition that we've been hoping for. And for that, I'm going to give him a little bit of camera time here. So shout out to you, Jim. Thanks for keeping your head held high. Caleb Shelton there in front of him, continuing to fall back just a bit. That's probably those tire wear finally coming into play for him. All right, thank you, Jim, for letting us ride on board with you there for a few laps. We'll go up back through here for the field. Bryce Shoemaker, your current race leader. He's got a second, just over a second over Rob Hamp there in second place. And then we have Jacob Chala, and Derek Garrison here racing for third place. Joseph Kazi there in the mix as well. These guys have been battling each other for the past few laps. No one's really been able to take advantage of any mistakes. These drivers have been fairly smart and precise with their lines. Derek Garrison there in that 8 car. He's going to be one to watch as well tonight. He's pretty fast here. Throughout the seasons, we've seen him get a win here. And then with other similar tracks like this, which eat your tires up, a little bit of looseness there behind him. That's Stefan Davis in the 60. What a save from him. Good heads up there by Joseph Kazi too. That could have been disastrous, but they kept it clean. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, Derek Garrison, he's really good at these type of tracks where you need a saver tire. He hasn't quite been able to finish one out for a race win here. He's led a handful of laps this season, and this track really seems to suit him quite the best. I think if you asked him, he'd probably say this is one of his best tracks. And we're going to have to see if maybe he can beat Joseph Kazi, the man who's been unstoppable so far this season. Now we'll go back and we'll take a look here at what almost caused the wreck here. You see Stefan Davis there, a little bit loose. That kind of happens when you've got those slick older tires, but a great save out of him and a great heads up by Joseph Kazi. So that's going to allow these guys to continue on racing. Derek Garrison now pressuring Jacob Shala in that 25 car. But he's also getting pressure from Joseph Kazi behind him. Got a little bit of contact there. Not sure if the 8 and the 25 made quite contact, or if maybe it was just aero, but that was enough to send the 25 into the wall a bit there. Derek Garrison loose a little bit on the bottom side, not able to get that run off. That's going to allow Joseph Kazi here to get to that outside of him, going to turns 1 and 2. See if Kazi is going to be able to have enough to pass both these guys. He's going to stick it 3 wide middle. 25 very loose on the high side, 3 wide going down the backstretch here. Joseph Kazi, will he have enough to clear the 25? Not quite enough. 25 holding his best on that high side. Not clear. Now clear. Move Joseph Kazi up to the 3rd position now. Now the battle's on here for 4th place. Derek Garrison trying to go back around the 25. He's not really able to get that throttle off the corner, being a little bit lower than the 25. 25's kind of pinching him and taking his air away. And that's kind of really affecting the 8. The 8's all over his bumper now. See if maybe he gives him a little bit of a shot here, or if maybe he'll just be able to side draft him and clear him. Time the door. It's going to have to force Derek Garrison to lift a little bit there and stall him out here again. They're going to remain side by side here, going to turns 1 and 2. See how long the 25 car can hold on this high side. We've seen Caleb Shelton there use up that high side and hurt his tires. He is now back to 12th position, about 9.5 seconds behind the leaders. So you don't want that to happen if you're the 25 of Jacob Schala here, but you do want to be able to hold off Derek Garrison. It's just kind of a balance as to what you're wanting to give and take for the most part here. Still very early on, lap 39. Still have a bit to the stage. Again, stage lap is lap 70, and there will be no stage caution. We're going to keep it green. Derek Garrison tried the high side there, not able to pull it off. Jacob Schala was able to get in his line and give Derek a little bit of dirty air there off the exit. So Derek Garrison here putting in this work to try and get around the 25. The 25 not quite willing to give it up. Now it looks like Derek Garrison is finally going to be able to clear the 25 of Jacob Schala. So move Derek to 4th place now. And it looks like the track got a little bit of shade right there in those 1 and 2 corners. Still very sunlit here in 3 and 4. See if that affects the handling for any of these drivers this next few laps. Joseph Kazi now working his way around Rob Hamp in the 99. Rob Hamp not putting up too much of a fight, so Joseph Kazi is going to be able to clear him pretty quickly and go to work on chasing down Bryce Shoemaker, who has just over a second lead still. We'll go up here to Bryce Shoemaker. It looks like he's been running a little bit of a higher line than Joseph Kazi here these past few laps. Yeah, Bryce Shoemaker running right on that 3rd seam. Looks like Joseph Kazi finally moving up there. Joseph Kazi was running the bottom compared to Shoemaker there. I think Shoemaker is going to run the top here in 3 and 4 again. That seems to be what he's been doing, and it looks like he will. Again, you just got to be careful for that wall. Kazi there, though, he's stuck to the bottom in 3 and 4, so kind of a little bit of different lane pick from these top 2. Looks like Joseph Kazi's strategy is kind of paying off. He's gained almost half a tenth there over the last lap and a half on Bryce Shoemaker. So far, these top 5 have pulled away from the rest of the pack by quite a bit. Derek Garrison going to try and peek to the inside of Rob Hamp. Not quite able to get that big of a run. See if he's able to make anything happen here. Rob Hamp on that top higher side, trying to hold off Derek Garrison. And we saw it took quite a lot of laps for Derek Garrison to get around Jacob Schala there in that 25 when Derek was on the bottom of the car. So we'll see if maybe this time it's any easier, see if he learned anything. Right now, the battle is on for the race lead. Joseph Kazi is there. Shoemaker trying to defend best he can on that high side. Still side by side, trying to get the side draft there is Joseph Kazi off of Bryce Shoemaker. Shoemaker all the way up there. That might have stalled him out when he hit the bumps, and that's going to allow Joseph Kazi to go around, see if Shoemaker makes a crossover. He's on the bumper, not quite. He's going to respectfully give the lead to Kazi there. 3 wide though. For second place, that's Bryce Shoemaker, Rob Hamp, Derek Garrison. Contact made. They kept it straight though as well. Rob Hamp, he's going to lose a lot of time there. He's getting it going. He's going to be able to keep it straight. Doesn't look like he's going to have too much damage there. We'll go back and take a look at that as well. Very close call there for both those drivers. That's the second incident tonight that's involved someone on the backstretch getting kind of loose there. All right, let's go back and take a look at this real quick. All right, so this is kind of where it started. Those drivers were able to get it 3 wide, and you can see Rob Hamp trying to give a little bit of space to Bryce Shoemaker there on that top side, and unfortunately got loose after that. And the biggest loser of that is going to be Rob Hamp. He fell quite a few seconds off the pace, and probably really hurt his tires quite a bit. Back up front, though, for the time being, that is Joseph Kazi, your race leader. Bryce Shoemaker holding strong in second place. Looks like Aaron K here in the 37 is on pit road. So he's going to be the first taker here of the night for green flag pit stop. Maybe assessing a little bit of damage on that car if he had any. Caleb Shelton also working his way down pit road now. 37 coming out of his box. 77 is going to have to give a little bit. Pit road can be a really tricky place sometimes. You saw it right there. That almost was a incident. Not quite, though. Both drivers with a really good heads up. I'm sure there's spotters as well. We're telling them to slow it down. Watch out. There's a car coming in. But the 77 is out and away now. We'll have to see which other leaders decide to pit here. I think a majority of these guys, though, did pit at that lap 20-ish caution, so I don't think anybody really is looking to pit too soon. I'm sure it will start to happen here shortly, but for the time being, I think majority of those guys that pit right there are guys who maybe took 2 or no tires at that last caution. Both Derek and Jacob Shala were also able to get around the 54, so 54, Bryce Shoemaker's back to 4th place. Still not bad. He's able to be within a 2-second lead or 2-second gap of the leader. So he hasn't fallen off quite too far. He just needs to be able to maintain this pace and hopefully not lose touch of Joseph Kazi. Rob Hamp as well making his way down pit road now. He just had that big slide a few laps ago. I'm sure he's really wanting to get fresh tires on. I don't really see any damage there either, so I think his car is pretty clean for the most part, and he'll probably be taking 4 tires and just fuel for this stop. Looking on your relative there, Jim Foskett has also brung it down pit road. The 24 of Justin Day as well. So we're kind of seeing a split between drivers right now. half of these drivers are kind of decided to pull the plug and pit now. The other half have decided to remain out and continue this green flag run. 37 of Aaron K there, working his way by these leaders. He's a lap down on those fresher tires, trying to get his lap back. '54, Bryce Shoemaker back there. He's working his way on the pit road now. Now, Joseph Kazi has not been able to pull away from this 8 car of Derek Garrison. I talked about him earlier on. I said he's going to have to be one to watch. He's really good at this track, and that is living up to it right now as he's running second place and he's currently running down Joseph Kazi there in that first position. All over the back bumper there. He's trying to look high there, see if he's able to get anything going on that higher lane. Not quite able to make it work. The 3 slides up in front of him. The 8 tries to think about sending it underneath him, see if he's able to get enough going into turns 1. Looks like he will. That's Joseph Kazi now to the high side, Derek Garrison to the bottom side. Joseph Kazi loose there. That's going to allow Derek Garrison to get the lead now. Slide right up in front of him. So move Derek Garrison to the lead now. Short-lived lead, sort of, for what we've seen out of Joseph Kazi there. But I'm sure he's ready to get 4 tires on here shortly and give another try at this. Looks like we got issues for Jacob Shala. Maybe, possibly. Yeah, looks like a little bit of grass right there and a wall slap for him. Not quite sure how much it bent out his car, but that was a pretty big hit there. Ooh, big slide there by Derek Garrison. As Stefan Davis there, a little slower car in the 60 on the top side. Relinquish the lead back to Joseph Kazi. Got 6 cars here on the lead lap for this time being. I think that slide there by Derek Garrison really hurt him quite a bit. See, Bryce Shoemaker there on that high side with those fresher tires trying to get his lap back. So now move 8 of these guys back in the lead lap, as we still have yet to see the top 5 pit. And you can see the speed difference with these guys on newer tires versus the guys that have yet to pit. It's a really big difference. And they're coming up on these leaders quite a bit faster. And these leaders are trying to get things sorted out between the top 2 at least. And these lap cars are kind of making it difficult for guys like Derek Garrison to figure out what his game plan is and where he's going. And it looks like he's kind of been able to reset his mindset and chase back down Joseph Kazi. Now looking to the inside of Joseph Kazi. He's got a bumper or a fender on him. That slow car of Jordan Berry, he's going to be in the way of Derek Garrison, and that's going to hurt him quite a bit. So Derek's going to have to reset here. He lost about a car length or two there, just having to get out of the throttle, being underneath the 10 car there. Nothing really the 10 car could have done differently. He held his line pretty good. Just it's kind of one of those things where the leaders are coming up on you and they split you. One goes high, one goes low, and you kind of just hold on to your wheel and pray that nothing bad happens. And we talked about this stage at lap 70. It's going to go green. There's going to be no competition caution for it. And the top 5 look like they've, at least the top 4 now, excuse me, the top 4 look like they're going for stage points. So these guys are going to be cycled out a bit behind these guys that pitted here when it all goes through, and we'll have to see how big of a gap that is. Like I was saying, really big speed difference early on, at least. Things will sort of sort themselves out probably about 15 laps into the run, and that's when we'll kind of be able to see when drivers who had just pitted, see if they maybe pushed too hard or if maybe they saved a bit and are able to maintain a gap to these guys who have yet to pit. Derek Garrison still trying to put pressure on this 3 car, not able to get the lead again. Every time he's been there, we've had a lap car kind of interfere with that. Here comes the 47 now. Maybe I should just stop talking about it and not jinx him. Side by side here, going down the backstretch. The 47 being patient, trying not to disrupt these 2 leaders racing for the lead. Derek with the big slide there again. Here comes Joseph Sullivan. He's saying, all right, I've got to go, guys. This is all fun and dandy, but I got to go. So he's going to use that high side to try and get around these 2. This, again, is really going to hurt Derek Garrison. Joseph Kazi is going to be able to maintain and hold on to that lead, and he will be the stage winner here. Again, there will be no caution here. We're going to keep it green. We're going to let things play out. This is one of the adjustments that the guys wanted to make, so we're going to keep it green. Now these guys, these top 4, Joseph Kazi, Derek Garrison. Oh boy, big slide there. Well, I was just saying that Joseph Kazi is on pit road, but or what am I saying? Joseph Kazi is right here. So Joseph Sullivan actually did get around him for the race lead here. But these 2, Joseph Kazi, Derek Garrison, fighting for second for the time being. I'm not quite sure how much longer they're able to go. I'm assuming it's going to be about another, within the next 10 laps. Eric Garrison there, who has stayed out with these two has pitted, so he is currently a lap down. And these guys are continuing to have to battle through this lap traffic. They navigate their way around these guys. All right, now a majority of these guys have been able to get their laps back for the time being. 11 cars now on the lead lap. That's going to put just 3 a lap down, and then one more 2 laps down. Still waiting on Joseph Kazi, Derek Garrison to make their way down pit road here. That's a safety car down there. He's a little bit off pace. Joseph Kazi making his way down pit road. He's got a big slide. He's going to actually spin it here. So around goes the 3 car. No caution. He's able to keep it under control and on pit road for the most part, but that's really going to hurt him here. Really tough pit road to get on and off of, and you just saw it there. A little bit of a lockup, a little bit of rear end slip, and he went around there. Eases it into his box, not really wanting to risk anything more. Derek Garrison now making his way down pit road, as well as Joseph Sullivan, and I think I actually misspoke. I think Sullivan was actually with these guys, and I'll be real honest, guys. I was too focused on Kazi and Garrison racing for the stage win. I'm not quite sure if Sullivan took it. We'll have to go back and find out here. Again, apologies. I was so focused on Garrison and Kazi that my mind completely slipped about Joseph Sullivan there. So things are shortly going to cycle out here. Or start to shortly cycle themselves out here. That's going to bring the lead back to Bryce Shoemaker. Joseph Kazi there behind. He's now a lap down because of that spin. So he's going to have a lot of work to come back. I mean, it's not a whole lot. It could have been way worse. We can go on board with him here. You can see Derek Garrison kind of up there. He's in the middle of the backstretch, so he lost about maybe 4.5 seconds to Derek Garrison there under that cycle. And at a place like that, or a place like this, that can be quite a lot. That's going to have to force the 3 car to possibly push a little bit harder to try and gain some time, but at the same time he needs to be in his head remembering that he can't wear those tires out too quickly, because if he wears those tires out too quickly, he's going to end up losing more time overall to Derek Garrison and Joseph Sullivan. Bryce Shoemaker is currently 7.5 seconds ahead of second place Caleb Schouten. Trying to go for his second win of the season here. See if maybe this is the strategy that plays out or not. He's one of the guys that pitted early on there. And right now he's kind of on a mission to gain as much time as he can before these guys behind him start to reel him in with those little bit fresher set of tires. Continuing to run this high side that we've seen him run all night for the most part. Hasn't really gone to that bottom side a whole lot. All right. Well, with this being pretty spread out for the most part, hopefully no announcers jinx, we're going to go ahead and go side by side with a commercial break here. But you will not miss a thing, and we'll be back here in just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Freedom Racing Sunday Night League. Got a lot going on here. Joseph Kazi was able to reel in Derek Garrison here. This is what we think is going to be more than likely the race win. Bryce Shoemaker currently holding this first position still. Those guys just had to deal with some of these lap traffic cars, some of these slower cars as well that are starting to lose their pace a bit. Joseph Sullivan here. He was my pick for tonight's race winner. Currently in 8th position. He led a few laps there. See if maybe this is something that he's trying to play conservative again and then make a late charge for the end of the race. Going above Rob Hamp there for position number 7. Move Rob Hamp back to 8th position. He had that slide earlier on, and that seems to have hurt him quite a bit. Hasn't been able to really recover too much from that. But there's still plenty of laps to try and make something out of what has gone to kind of a bad night for him. So we'll keep in touch with him throughout this last half of the race and see if he's able to recover or not. Nick Wood here, we haven't really talked about a lot tonight. He's in this beautiful Freedom Racing Ford Mustang. I love the car, I love the colors. He's currently racing for this, to be this first car a lap down with Jordan Berry behind him. See if he's maybe able to hold on to it or not. And that's going to be huge if we do get a caution. So far, we've kept it green for the most part. Haven't really had too much of wrecking or anything like that. We've had a few close calls, a few guys that have maybe gotten away with a lucky one. But so far, these guys have been putting on a really great show. And right in front of Nick Wood there is Eric Garrison getting pressure from Joseph Kazi there for position number 6 or number 5. So move Eric, back to 6th. Joseph Sullivan trying to make up some time. He's been a little bit quicker than some of these guys in front of him, holding even with the two guys that he was racing there at the end of that stage, Derek Garrison and Joseph Kazi. So he's not out of the picture quite yet, but he's gonna need to put in a little bit more work here to catch those two faster cars. Bryce Shoemaker now making his pit stop here again. It's gonna put the lead in the hands of Jacob Shala. So hello, Jordan Trass. We miss you, bud. Hopefully you're able to get things sorted out and situated with yourself, and we hope to see you back in the car here in a few weeks or so. Move the 25 on the pit road here as well. So now the lead's going to go back to Derek Garrison and Joseph Kazi. Again, like we talked about, this is the primary focus of what we think is going to be for the race win. Nothing really confirmed yet. Again, anything can happen. Still got plenty of laps to see things change, but for right now, these two have been going at it for pretty much the whole night. Something may have happened to Justin Day here. We'll go back and see. I think for the most part he's fine. May have had a little bit of trouble getting on the pit road. So far, good for him. All right, so this is going to be our guy that we're going to want to watch here. 51 laps led today for Bryce Shoemaker in that 54 Toyota Camry. He just made that green flag pit stop, so he's got these fresher tires. We're going to have to see if that's enough time here with just under, well, just over 30 laps to go. See if maybe that's enough time for him to catch back up to Derek Garrison, Joseph Kazi, and possibly get the win here. Eric Garrison's made his way on the pit road as well, for what I believe will be the final stop here tonight. Able to get it in pretty good. See if he can get a clean exit off as well. Got another car here on pit road. I believe that's Keith Shoemaker in the 88 car. Haven't talked about him a lot tonight as well. So far, he's been able to just kind of ride and keep out of trouble. Looks like he's also able to get a clean entry and exit off of pit road as well. So most of these guys not having too much trouble. Joseph Kazi is the only one who has really had a lot of trouble getting on the pit road. But it hadn't really put too much of a dent in his progress, because he's been able to reel Derek in and hold on to second place here for now. Sissy car is Stefan Davis. Stefan Davis here is out, looks like, so he's gonna be out with mechanical issues. Again, some of these guys who have just came off of pit road trying to get their laps back, working their way through the leaders. We saw under the last green flag cycle that really hurt Derek Garrison's progress to get up to Joseph Kazi for the race lead. Hasn't really hurt either of these two too much. If anything, it's probably hurt Kazi a little bit more, as there's now a little bit bigger of a gap between those top two. But for the most part, these drivers have been pretty respectful all around and haven't really been too much of a burden to these leaders. Looks like Joseph Kazi is going to be making a pit stop here. So he's going to roll down on the pit road here. A little bit better of a pit entry here. A little cleaner. Not as sloppy as last time. Didn't spin it. Didn't loop it. Hopefully no overslide for him. And he actually does overslide there, so that's also going to hurt him. Something that Joseph Kazi's kind of struggled with tonight is green flag pit stops, and once again right there it showed itself. See how Derek Garrison responds here. Looks like he's going to stay out and continue to go around. Joseph Sullivan here, now in second place, 3 seconds behind Derek Garrison. He's my pick tonight. He's kind of kept it quiet, except for there at the end of the stage. Hasn't really gained a whole lot the past few laps. He's maintained about this 3 second lead, or this 3 second gap between him and Derek Garrison. But the one thing he's going to have to watch out for here is Bryce Shoemaker. Bryce Shoemaker he's coming. He's 16 seconds behind Derek Garrison here. and that's kind of that lead over Bryce Shoemaker that Derek has on these older tires is kind of evaporating pretty quickly. Again, really big speed difference here. When you have fresher tires like Bryce Shoemaker does, it's just a matter of fact on if he's able to get to Derek's bumper with the amount of laps that we have left in this race. Might have had an incident here. Let's go back and see. So it looks like it was Joseph Kazi possibly. He finished up his green flag pit stop. Again, slid the box a little bit. I could have possibly been wrong too, but I feel like I saw something on my information saying that Joseph Kazi had an issue. Again, could have been wrong, could have been misinformation. We'll go ahead and watch here and see if anything happens in this next lap. If not, I'm going to assume it was just a glitch in the system here. It doesn't really look like anything has happened to Kazi here, so I'm not quite sure if it was, unless it was coming up around Jordan Berry, possibly could have been. Doesn't look like it really, so I'm not quite sure what information I was getting from the system here, but we'll go back live here. Looks like Bryce Shoemaker's back on pit road here. Oh, no, he's not. Is that my issues? That could be my issues. Nope, it looks like it was just a glitch in the relative again. So, looks like everything is fine and dandy for the most part. I was going to say, that would be really odd if you saw Bryce Shoemaker come down pit road again. Joseph Sullivan not really able to make a lot of time here on Derek Garrison. He's maintained this 3-second gap. He got it down to about 2.7 seconds and just has kind of kept that speed pretty steady, and that's good if you're looking overall at a big picture, but if you're going to try and chase down Derek Garrison, that's not really a good thing to have happening. So Joseph Sullivan needs to find a little bit more out of his race car if he wants to chase down Derek Garrison here. That car of Rob Hamp, the 99 there, trying to get around Derek Garrison, trying to get his lap back possibly. Looks like he'll be able to get to the inside of Derek Garrison here, so pretty overall these lap cars have been able to get around Derek pretty clean, haven't really caused him trouble. Again, we saw earlier Derek Garrison kind of had trouble with some of these slower guys, and that stalled him quite a bit. But now that he's been able to get fresh air, not have the pressure from Joseph Kazi, and not really had to deal with too much lap traffic, he's kind of been able to set sail. And right as I've been talking about Joseph Sullivan needing to find the little boost button, he's stepped it up by quite a bit. He's closed it down about half a second there on Derek Garrison these past few laps. Looks like we got one in the wall. That's Jim Foskett. He's going to be right in the way of some of these guys. Looks like that's possibly a right front down. Still green flag racing. See if he's able to get it down out of the way here. Or maybe these guys will throw a caution. Looks like the 88 there almost into the back end, able to get around the 47. Fine though. 47 is going to try and hold it down here. Not a good night for him. 47 needs to get off the track best he can. Looks like he will be able to. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened there with him. Let's see. So it looks like it actually happened just a little bit earlier than that. So, oh, just hit the wall there on this back stretch. Maybe a little bit of aero loose from the 5. Then they got collected again. 47 just hard to hit with that right front, and that kind of killed his whole right side, and it looks like it knocked the right front out quite a bit. So that's going to end the night for him more than likely. At least for competitive wise, it's going to end his night. All right, we'll be coming to 14 laps to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Joseph Sullivan, he found that speed a few laps ago, but he hasn't really been able to gain a whole lot. He's going to need to gain a little bit more if he wants to get to Derek's back bumper here within the next 14 laps. Bryce Shoemaker hasn't really gained that much either, so put him at a stall out for now. Looks like the 99 of Rob Hampler in front of Derek got the wall just a little bit. That's probably going to make Derek nervous. I'm sure he's glad he didn't see that caution there for Jim. But having a car in front of you, at least right in front of you, hit the wall is a little bit nerve-wracking. We'll go on board with Joseph Sullivan here. See if he's able to find something here in these next 12 laps. Coming to 11 laps to go. He's got it down to just around 2 seconds. Not quite sure if that's enough at this pace to make anything happen. But you can see Derek right out in front of his windshield. He's trying, and that sure means a lot to probably his crew and his fans out there. He's pushing this car to its limits, trying to chase down one of the best here. Into the wall there for Joseph Sullivan. That's really going to hurt him now. He got a little bit loose and had to chase it up the track. And unfortunately, he got that wall with his right side. And he lost about 4/10 right there to Derek Garrison. He's so close. He can see the leader of Derek Garrison right there in his windshield. It's just, does he have enough car? Does he have enough speed? Did he use up that right front? He's going to hit it again. That's really going to hurt him now. Can't be doing that. He didn't lose too much time that time, but he did have to jump out the gas quite a bit. Still nicked the wall barely with that right rear. Sullivan needs to be able to compose himself these last 7, coming to 7 laps to go. Try and make something happen. He's been really fast on these long runs, just maybe a little bit faster than Derek Garrison. But will he have enough this time by? He was just a bit faster than Derek Garrison that time by, not a whole lot quicker. Sullivan ran a 34.629. Derek ran a 34.679. So very close on times. Not a big difference between those two. It's just, is Joseph Sullivan able to keep it out the wall? Will Derek make a mistake? Caution! We've got a caution. This is going to change a lot of things here. I believe it is Shala, Jacob Shala here. Possibly Caleb Shelton as well. We're going to get a caution here late in the race. That's going to restack the field and give these guys a shot. And that, if you're Derek Garrison, that's the last thing you want to see. You had over a 2-second lead. You're cruising your way to the finish. And with a blink of an eye, you get a caution. And now you have pressure from the field. What do you do here? Do you take 4 tires? Do you take 2 tires? Do you want to risk it? I'm sure if you're a guy like Bryce Shoemaker or Joseph Causey back there who lost a little bit of time there, you're excited and stoked to have another shot at this. It's just who is going to come out on top here. These guys are going to make their way down pit road. I'm assuming going to get 4 fresh tires. I don't think you really want to do 2, but you never know. Some of these drivers might take 2 tires. We'll have to wait and see what these drivers actually do. Sullivan and Derek are now pulling their way through pit road. Sullivan right side's on. Going around to what looks like the left side. Left side's on. Let's go back to Derek Garrison. Looks like left side's on as well. So he's going to be out and away here. So as they go in, it's basically what they're going to come out as. Derek Garrison's going to hold on to the lead. Joseph Sullivan right there behind him. Bryce Shoemaker in 3rd. Caleb Shelton now is going to be in 4th place. Joseph Causey, who we've seen has had a tough time on pit road, loses a spot again here. So he probably overslid there. Potentially could have gotten some damage fixed. Not quite positive. Wasn't really watching him, but either way, he lost another spot on pit road. So he's not having it. Him and pit road have not been friends tonight. These guys are going to come to the choose cone, I believe, this time by. These guys in front of them are going to go ahead and get their lap back. Derek's going to pick the high side. Sullivan inside. Bryce Shoemaker outside as well. Want to go back and take a look and see what happened here between these two real quick. There was the 77 and 25, I believe, that got involved in this wreck. We'll see if we can catch it here. Oh, looks like the 25 hit the wall and just bounced off and collected the 77. So the 25 hit the wall, collected the 77, and that's what brought out our caution here. Pace car is going to pull off this time by. We'll have just a handful of laps remaining. It's in the hands of Derek Garrison. Green flag back in the air. Joseph Sullivan with a little bit of tire spin. That's going to check up the inside line. Joseph Kazi was able to get around that. Now he's going to put pressure on the 54 Bryce Shoemaker. Try and make quick work of him here. To the inside of Bryce Shoemaker. Will it be enough time for him to catch Derek Garrison, though? White flag this time by for the race leader, Derek Garrison. Now the battle's on for second and third place. Bryce Shoemaker able to hold on to that second place. Oh, he's in the wall. Little bit of contact. He able to keep it straight. Little bit of contact though with the 99 and the 3, and they're 3 wide here for fourth place. 3 is going to pinch to 57. A little bit of contact there going into the corner. But it's not going to matter because your race winner is going to be Derek Garrison at the line in a wreck behind them. Big slide there by Nick Wood across the start finish line. Derek Garrison, he's able to get his first win of the season at his most dominant track of the schedule. And we saw it again tonight. He was not here to play around. He dominated. He showed up. He led laps. And now he's going to be joining us in victory lane here tonight. Oh, and he flipped it. He flipped it. He flipped his race car, folks. I don't think there's going to be much recovery from that, unfortunately. That is a turtled race car. See if maybe somebody will come out here and help him. There's Bryce Shoemaker able to get him back on his lid. So we'll continue with his burnout here. Once again, here's the official, or the unofficial, I should say, results. Top 3, Rob Hamp, Bryce Shoemaker, Derek Garrison, Joseph Kazi, able to hold on to 4th place there after getting pressure from Joseph Sullivan there. Caleb Shelton able to rebound with a 7th place finish after having that incident early on and losing a bit of track position. So let's get some of these drivers in here. All right, we'll go back and take a look here in a second at this pit stop, or at this, excuse me, at this restart. See, big tire spin there from Joseph Sullivan, and that's kind of what checked up the whole inside lane. And allowed Derek Garrison to kind of get away with that one there. All right, let's get in some of these guys here. All right, here's third place finisher Rob Hamp. You got me there.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well that was that was a wild finish there, and you were almost able to capitalize on it there. Kind of an all around, like we saw multiple strategies, and for a second there, I you were a lap down, and I'm sure that caution really helped you out a lot. But how were you able to rebound to this third place finish?
Oh man, yeah, I thought I was out of it. I was actually thinking about how a caution would completely turn this thing on its head, and as soon as I thought about it, boom, the caution came out. But yeah, I don't know. It came out, had the 57 not almost lost it on the restart there. I don't think I would have been able to secure the third place. But real excited for the finish. Uh, I followed Bryce into the wall coming off of what was it, 2 on the last lap there. Yeah, that was a little wild. Managed to bring it home third though. That was cool.
Yeah, I think this is one of your best finishes of the season so far. Correct me if I'm wrong though. Um, but from a perspective of a driver, like how much does this confidence boost give you? And I know we're gonna have a few weeks off here, um, so you're gonna have a little bit of a gap. But going into like these off weeks, how much of a confidence does that give you as a driver?
Oh, it's a huge confidence booster for sure. I just yeah, a huge confidence boost. I've kind of been on the back end with all the strategy calls here. It seems like everything's kind of gone against me, and finally we get this one. So yeah, it's definitely a huge confidence booster.
All right, Rob. Well, thank you for taking a moment to speak with me. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before I let you go here?
Just a huge thanks to Bryce for uh running the league and for you to you for broadcasting and yeah, just all the rest of the guys out here for creating some really, really good racing with the car that we've got.
Alrighty, before I let you go, I just want to say that is a beautiful paint scheme, by the way.
Hey, thanks.
Alrighty, Rob. I'll let you go enjoy your third place finish. Thanks again for taking a moment with us.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was third place finisher Rob Hamp. Again, probably one of his best finishes of the season so far. And you heard it from him that this is a confidence boost for him, especially with him being either involved in wrecks late in the race or just getting the, like you said, the end of the strategy. And hopefully we can see him get finishes like this more after our break. We'll go ahead and get Bryce Shoemaker here. Bryce Shoemaker, you got me, bub.
I got you.
Alrighty, well, you almost had it, and for a minute there, it did look like your strategy was the one to beat. Um, Tell me a little bit about what your plan was going into tonight and kind of getting off cycle from the two, what I would say were the guys to beat, Derek and Joseph Kazi.
Uh, there was never really a strategy to win. I just had nothing in the long run. The right front was melted after 30, 40 laps. So honestly, it was more just so I didn't blow a tire and have a meatball. So we were looking to get a top 5 out of it if we hung on there. But that last run before the final caution was the worst it had been all night. I had already gotten my right front warning, and we only did like 25, 30 laps on that run. So just I know I got P2, but definitely one of my weakest races, and I think I was the cause of that last caution on what was a perfect race. That was the most fun I've had here, and kind of ruined it there at the end. So I'm glad the green white checker there was clean, but and Derek got the win because he was also the most deserving. He played his strategy perfectly. So yeah, congrats to Derek. 3 for 3, undefeated, and he was the first one to sweep Tyler Lehman's main Freedom race and then this race. So he swept the weekend, as you can say, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is always cool to be a part of witnessing something like that. It's really difficult for some drivers to do. Um, Although I don't think you can be too disappointed in yourself. I mean, the P2 finish is not that bad, and you've already got that win secured. And I know you're talking about your right front or your right front, right rear, whichever one it was. Kind of wearing out. But at the end of the day, sometimes you are thankful for things like this that may not have seemed to be going your way, but then you end up with a P2 finish. And I think you got some decent points today, and again, just much closer to another win. Again, I really thought you had it there for a second. I'll be real honest. Definitely were one of the earlier cars to pit there, which honestly I had no idea it was tire strategy related. I thought maybe you had come up with one of your tricky scheme plans again to try and play a wild card, or as I like to call it, the shoemaker card. um, but before I let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to make a comment on or say?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, obviously we had what 2 cautions in a 134 lap race at a mile and a half. Obviously, it's been a struggle for us this season with the tight pack racing and just really aggressive. You have to be aggressive to win in these things. So 2 cautions, by far the best race. Super happy about that. Can't thank everyone enough. Uh, yeah, just thank all the drivers that participated tonight. We have a 4-week break, I know that, but we have a whole lot of momentum. Not just me or Derek or anyone how to get finished, but the whole league as a whole. We can go back. We're going to do some road course racing when we get back. We have some short tracks, and we know that we can put on a good product. And moving forward, I think the league's in a really, really good place after tonight. That's exactly what we needed. So, again, I can't thank everyone else enough for just the clean, respectful racing that we saw tonight.
Alrighty, thank you, Bryce, for taking a moment. I do agree. I think the racing tonight was probably some of the best. Although I will say I don't know if I don't know if it was maybe one of the best finishes we had, but overall, like the racing was really, honestly, from a fan perspective, it was really fun to watch. And like you said, there was everybody kind of after those few races that we've had where we've got a lot of cautions towards the end, everybody seems to have cleaned it up. So I also think we are in a turnaround for late wrecks and all that jumble mess.
Yeah, finish-wise, you take Derek Garrison for a green-white checkered. It's going to be a boring finish, so nothing we can do there. That's just Derek working his magic at Atlanta.
This is true and very unstoppable here so far with Atlanta and Derek. But I'll let you go celebrate that P2 finish of yours. Again, always great talking with you, and hopefully we can talk to you after our break.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Bryce Shoemaker, able to capitalize on strategy and able to get that late race caution, so he was able to get around the second place finish. We'll go ahead and take an award with our race winner, Derek Garrison here. Derek Garrison, you got me.
Yes, sir, Oscar, I got you.
All right, well, I hate to say it, but you were probably the one to beat here over Kazi, and I know Reese didn't show up, but I think you would probably beat them any day here, and this seems to just be your type of track that you can just capitalize on long runs and mistakes and just everything overall, and you're able to pull it off there. I know we had a late race caution there that probably scared you for a second, but overall you're able to have a pretty much mistake-free night and capitalize on the win. So tell me a little bit about your night overall.
Yeah, it went pretty good at the start of it. I just knew the name of the game was really just saving your tires. keep the bottom lane, make sure nobody gets any clean air underneath you, and protect your tires and just go fast, And luckily we was able to do that and keep track position, and especially with everybody pitting there towards the end of the race for some reason, we was able to get a pretty comfortable lead over JoJo. And well, yeah, that caution come out. I was kind of pissed. I ain't gonna lie, but somehow it went my way tonight, and we won.
That you did, and I want to go back to something you said. Saving tires. You were able to be quicker than Joseph Causey, and I think just a bit faster than Joseph Sullivan. Those were pretty much your two competitors all night. And you're able to capitalize on Causey's pit road mistakes. I think he actually had a pit road mistake every time that we pitted under green. And at a track like this, what does that take for you mentality wise? Like realizing like, hey, if my car starts to slip up, this is a rough track. This is what I need to do to maybe save this amount of tire, and maybe getting on the pit road. This is where I need to be safe, or maybe I can push a little bit harder to try and gain sometimes. Like, how does that go into your head when making these decisions?
Yeah, I mean, you just really just wait on everybody else to pit. Really, I like to be one of the last ones to pit, and just be aware of everything that's going on around you. And somebody in the chat was like, I think Joseph Causey spun going to pit road or something like that. I was like, well, I think I just want to stay out a few more laps. I have some better tires than he will in the long run. But I guess he come out pit road and he still passed us, and I just kind of stayed behind him and just kept my left front in the clean air and save all I could, and then yeah, it paid off for me and JoJo.
Well, that it did, and I don't know if we want to talk about maybe the one wrong thing of tonight with your burnout there, where you ended up flipping it.
Yeah, I don't know how I've never done that, so it's it kind of surprised me. I had Bryce come flip me back over, but we all got a good laugh over that for sure.
Yeah, you had a good friend of Bryce Shoemaker there help you out. You were pretty turtled there, and I thought for a second you weren't going to be able to continue your burnout, but you're able to get it right side up and continue on. So we'll just maybe we'll just cut that part out of the night and just ignore it.
There you go. Yeah, the win. I'm happy about the win. I don't really care about the burnout. I'm finally glad I got one this season. Didn't think it was going to come, but it definitely had this track circled, because I think this is 3 in a row at this track now. So and then I won an Xfinity race tonight as well. So I'm just been on a roll here lately.
Yeah, I heard about that Xfinity race.
We'll see what happens down on the road. Hopefully, I can carry the momentum on towards the playoffs, and hopefully be crowned a champion. It's been a while since that happened. But
yeah,
with all the rules and the fact that JoJo and Bryce and me, we all sat down and we figured out a good, I don't know, never mind. We figured out a pretty good, never mind. I can't talk.
No worries. I had those moments tonight too. So maybe it's just a Sunday night thing that words just escape. But you also have a win on your mind right now, so I don't really expect you to be too focused on what's trying to come out of the mouth. Honestly, just celebrating that win and maybe having a few beers along the way too. But
yeah, how you like the bush apples anyway?
Amazing. Had 3 today.
Hell yeah.
Gonna have one here with you hopefully after we get done here. So with that, I'll let you go. Congrats on the win. Very dominant tonight, and hopefully after this break we can see you take off with this momentum.
Yes, sir. And thank you all thank you for the broadcast as well.
You're welcome. Thank you. Alrighty, that was your race winner, Derek M. Garrison. Pretty eventful night here. Had strategy, had cautions, had everything really kind of happen. We've been talking about this break, and yes, we will be going on a break for a few weeks. It'll be almost a month until we're back racing. That will be Daytona road course on, what is this, June 8th. So pretty much an exact month from here on out, we will be back racing. I know it's unfortunate for some of these guys to have such a long break, but I do think that once we get going again, these guys will be able to put on the show and get right back at it. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching, who did watch, either live or watching it back. Congrats to Derek Garrison on the win here, and we will see you guys back in a few weeks.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.